The guy's a really good boxer. We've talked about his power punching. He has one punch KO power for sure. And watch his body shots, and he's always in tremendous physical condition. Here he comes, Nicolás Uolterс.
Well, it's a short walk from that backdrop that you saw into the ring here at the Chelsea. And this could be a walk into history for Nicolás Uolterс if he is able. He is, you know, a quality fighter, an undefeated fighter who had a significant victory over Nonito Donaire, yet he enters this ring tonight. I mean, a very severe underdog to Lomachenko.
And he brought that up in the fighter meetings. He said, you know what, when you come into a fight as big of an underdog as I am, they aren't looking to give me a decision. I got to go in there, and I have to look to knock him out.
Well, that may be so. His judges are Adelaide Bird, Bert Clements, and Glenn Trowbridge. Three excellent judges here in the state of Nevada. So if he will get a fair shake, I assure you of that. Two-division world champ Vasily Lomachenko ready to make his way out as we look at Nicolás Uolterс with Bob Walters, Jason Gallegos. Incidentally, Miguel Diaz was supposed to work his corner, and they didn't really want to pay him what his normal fee is. I think that's really strange in a world title fight not to give Miguel Diaz, who's one of the very best cutmen. I've seen him oftentimes, not oftentimes, so many times, keep fighters in fights and guys that went on to win titles that they probably would have been out of the fight in the third round. So that's an unusual twist of fate. I don't know how good Jason Gallegos is as a cut man. Celso Chavez also works the corner, and Roberto Grimaldi. But that's an interesting twist that Miguel Diaz is not working the corner, and he was scheduled to. Now Vasily Lomachenko about to make his way in. 6-1 as a professional, 4 KOs. We mentioned many times about his huge amateur background, nearly 400 amateur fights, two-time Olympian, had his first pro fight in March of 2014 for the WBO Featherweight Championship in his second pro fight. He lost a split decision in that one to the crafty veteran Orlando Salito, but he's 6-0 since then. In terms of boxing, very, very accurate puncher. Fantastic footwork, as you'll see. He's a solid body puncher. He throws 2 to 3 punches and moves. He's a second-year professional fighter. He holds the WBO featherweight title. He won that in his third pro fight. He beat Gary Russell Jr. in Carson, California, defended that title 3 times, and then beat Rocky Martinez by KO in June for the WBO super featherweight title in New York City. Last 3 wins, all by knockout. By the way, they're calling it the Junior Lightweight Championship because it's the WBO. Junior Lightweight and Super Featherweight, both the same weight at 130 pounds, so there's no confusion there. This guy's a natural right-hander, but he fights southpaw. That's why he has so much power with both hands. Here he is, Vasily Lomachenko, spelt V-A-S-Y-L, pronounced Vasily.
Gives all the credit to his dad. It's unbelievable. Calls his dad a genius. His dad was the one that put him into that southpaw stance at an early age. His dad is Anatoly, coached the Ukrainian 2012 Olympic team.
Some of the tactics, Colonel, that they do in the gym, I mean, the way that they train and prepare, it's some of the most unorthodox training techniques I have ever seen. It's amazing.
It's Michael Buffer.
Good evening, дамы и господа, добрый вечер. Welcome to the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas. Now, before we get started with this very special contest, this is a special night indeed, as this is promotion number 2,000 for Hall of Fame promoter Bob Arum. For 50 years, he's brought us more fights than anyone in the sport. The challengers, champions, and contenders, it's a list of the who's who of boxing over the last half century. De La Hoya, Mayweather, Duran, Hagler, Hearns, Pacquiao, Big George Foreman, Smokin' Joe Frazier, and the greatest Muhammad Ali. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of HBO Sports, the cosmopolitan, and boxing fans around the world, we salute the most prolific promoter in boxing history, AKA the Bob Father, Mr. Bob Arum. And now Bob Arum and his Top Rank Incorporated are proud to present the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Super Featherweight Championship of the World. Sponsored by Tecate, Born Bold. And sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman Anthony A. Marnell III, Executive Director Bob Bennett, and the World Boxing Organization, President Francisco Paco Barcarcel, Supervisor Richard DeCure. The three judges scoring will be Adelaide Bird, Bert Clements, and Glenn Trowbridge, and in charge of the action at the bell, your referee, Tony Weeks. And now, the officials are at ringside, and they are ready. The fighters are in the ring, and they are ready. So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, live on HBO Sports from the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas, Nevada, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing green, yellow, and black. Official weight, 129 1/2 pounds. His professional record, an outstanding one. 26 victories, including 21 wins by knockout without a loss, and he has 1 draw. Tonight, he challenges for his 2nd world title. He's the knockout artist from Montego Bay, Jamaica, former featherweight champion of the world, the undefeated Nicholas Uolterс. And fighting out of the red corner, wearing multicolors and weighing in officially at 130 pounds. After 396 amateur victories with only 1 defeat and 2 Olympic gold medals, he now is a 2-time world champion with a professional record of 6 victories and 4 KOs, only 1 defeat. Kamigas Bada from Akerman, Ukraine, the reigning and defending WBO Super Featherweight Champion of the World, Vasyl Lomachenko.
So we're just about set to go here. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited about this. You know, every once in a while I get goosebumps for a fight, and this is one of those cases. I'm excited about this. Vasily Lomachenko and Nicolás Uolterс had the same feeling a week ago when we did the fight, and now we get to do this one.
Okay, gentlemen, you both.
Tony Weeks calls him in.
Okay, right here is okay, anything below that's low. Right here is okay, anything that's low. I want a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times, above all, protect yourselves at all times. Let's go.
Both of these guys, real professionals, no ridiculous posturing or talking or anything like that. They're here to fight. They both have great respect for their opponents, and everyone's looking forward to this one.
This will be all business. The banger, Uolterс, Lomachenko. Hey, 6 wins, 4 knockouts. He can bang too. We'll see how it unfolds here. It's the footwork I want you to watch with Lomachenko. It is extraordinary. Here we go. They touch gloves. The southpaw is Lomachenko. This is round number 1. It's scheduled for 12. At stake, the WBO Junior Lightweight Championship of the World at 130 pounds. Nobody's got off just yet. This Uolterс feigning, trying to get in on him. They're trying to land a right hand. If you're Uolterс, you want to try and make him feel your power early. If you're Lomachenko, you might just want to cruise for the first couple of rounds, feel him out, see what you can do. And Christine, I think you talked to Lomachenko about that.
That's exactly what he said, Colonel. He says, I'm going to give it about 4 rounds to feel him out. And it's rare you hear a fighter actually call out the round, but he is special. And he said, not to say I'm going to give away those rounds, but I'm not fully going to pressure this fighter until after about 4 rounds because he has such good defense. His proportions are perfect, and he knows exactly what to do in the ring. He's smart, too. So I'm going to take my time.
Both of these guys showing great respect for each other at this stage with a minute gone in round number 1.
Watch Lomachenko work, though. little bit of movement with his gloves just to see how Uolterс reacts. A little bit of movement, side to side, upper body movement is what he uses a lot. Colonel mentioned his footwork, which is excellent. He's always unbalanced, leverage. It gives you angles also, and that really is an important aspect of his success.
Yeah, he has a tendency, Rich, to step around guys and blindside them with shots. And any fighter will tell you the punch that you get hit with that you don't see is the one that hurts you. And Lomachenko tries to do that. Not much between them here in the first half of this first round.
Uolter's signature win was the spectacular knockout of Nonito Donaire 2 years ago. He has not ascended those heights since then, but he feels tonight could be the night that he does that with his power. By the way, that fight with Donaire, he was in a bad way at the end of I believe it was the second or third round. He got really tagged by Donaire, and he showed the ability to withstand and come back, and that was important. We don't know that about Lomachenko yet.
We may find out tonight.
Well, in that fight at 126, that was the division that originally we thought we were going to see this fight at, that the fans wanted to see last year. It didn't get made, but look, they're both fighting now at 130, a title on the line, and that's exactly what Uolterс wanted, was a shot at the title. And now that Lomachenko has won that title at 130, the fight got agreed upon, and here we are.
Difficult round to judge. I think Lomachenko's probably landed more than has Uolterс in the first round. He's picked it up in the last 30 seconds to try and be sure he wins this round. See that? He almost walks by his guy. Then he clipped him there to make it definitive. And what was going to be a very, very difficult round to score for the first 2.5 minutes all of a sudden becomes an easy 10-9 round now.
Lomachenko round for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's so much of a slow start for him. It's not too bad.
Well, I don't know if you'd want to start any faster against a guy that can bang like Uolters.
Exactly.
Get a few rounds in, wear him down a little bit, test what you can do with your jab. I want you to watch the folks, the way he almost walks by his man and gets to his side, and then he'll throw an overhand shot and blindside him. It's quite extraordinary as we listen to Celso Chavez.
Another thing about Lomachenko to watch tonight is he seems equally comfortable fighting outside or inside. He's a better inside fighter than people give him credit for, because everybody's talking about all these other aspects, but he can fight on the inside as well.
Well, besides the foot speed, he's got a nice hand speed too. Lomachenko, the southpaw, to the right of your screen, the blue and white. A little bit of red on it, high tech on his side, and he is a highly technical fighter.
Now you take a look at the style of Nicolás Uolterс. I've always liked his style. You know, it's a compact style. If you see, he's got his hands up high in a defensive stance. He keeps his elbows close, tight to his body, and so he uses all of that to help him defensively. But he does have, as Colonel mentioned, that one-punch power. His left jab, because he holds it up high, Colonel, it actually comes down a lot of times towards opponents, which is unusual. A lot of the fighters, you know, you see them bending down. The left jab will come from down below, but from Uolterс, it actually comes from up high.
Uolters looks like he might be a little bit taller, but no, they're both 5'7", exactly the same height. Uolters cut loose with the right hand. Uolters again to the right of your screen now. Yellow socks, black, yellow, green trunks. That's the color of the flag of Jamaica.
He trains out of Panama. He speaks English and Spanish. Quite a unique guy. Great personality in Nicolás Uolterс too. So he has all the abilities and the package to be a star, and he is. I think he's very much. I mean, this fight for Lomachenko, he said this is a special fight because he knows the caliber of fighter Nicolás Uolters is.
Both of these guys, by the way, are top-ranked fighters too. Bob Arum and the Brain Trust that do the matchmaking. Mr. Moretti, Mr. Trampler.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know that a lot of the other top-ranked fighters in this weight division or around these weight really wanted to fight Lomachenko. But Nicolás Uolterс wanted to fight Lomachenko.
Yes, he did, and now he's getting into it. Nice inside body shot and uppercut by Nicolás Uolters.
And you'll see their feet come together quite a bit, a little bit of the stepping on the front foot, which, Colonel, you always talk about how that happens a lot between an orthodox and a southpaw fighter.
Yeah, it does. And when you're fighting like that, when there's an orthodox and southpaw, you got to work to get your foot to the outside to have the positioning. These guys don't even seem to be concerned about that at this stage, but if they get tied up and start stepping on each other, they'll concentrate more on that. And the way Lomachenko moves on his feet, he'll be to the outside of that outstretched left foot of Uolterс quite a bit tonight. Him slide around there again. Didn't get off when he took the walk by. See him slide around again. Didn't throw again. Back in position right in front of Nikolaus Uolterс. Uolterс stands flat foot now and allows him to come in. Lomachenko again gets to his side, cuts loose with a shot. Steps in front of him, lets the jab go. Uolterс right there, right in front of him. Trying to reach for him. And again, you know, in the second round, Lomachenko outboxed him. So I got Lomachenko, and you said, Christina, he wanted to start slow. Relatively slow, but he's controlling the boxing. More so in the second round, I thought, than in the first round. Rich, you in line with that? I don't want to put thoughts in your head. You agree with that?
Well,
don't be afraid now. You're my pal.
Yeah, no, I'm really not sure about that. I thought actually that Uolterс did some real good work in the first half of the round, and I thought in the second half of the round then Lomachenko did the better work. But I think Uolterс is very much in this fight.
No question.
And one thing I want to mention in advance, just to kind of file it away, is the right uppercut of Nikolaus Uolterс, which I think might be the best that Lomachenko has faced. I mean, we haven't seen it flashed yet, but Uolters has an outstanding right uppercut, which he can use from in close, mid-range, or from long range. If you remember when he fought Darchinian, he knocked Darchinian down with a right uppercut from long range. When he fought Donaire, he knocked Donaire down with a right uppercut from mid-range.
So that's something we can look for when they're on the inside. This is round 3. It's scheduled for 12. Again, the WBO super lightweight 130-pound championship on the line. No, I said super. I meant junior lightweight.
Stop.
Lightweight being 135 pounds.
Don't do that. Here we go.
Straight left hand down the middle. That's the power punch for the southpaw. There he goes, walking by again, but not throwing the punch. Another thing that I'm noticing here that I had sort of forgotten is that Uolterс moves very well on his feet too. He's out of there very quickly, Rich.
Yes, you know, he because of the fact that everybody's been talking about Lomachenko's incredible versatility in the ring, and he is like a professor of boxing in there. People have tended to downplay what Uolters can do in there.
Well, I think Uolters has turned it up a notch in this round. He caught Lomachenko with a real good hook to the body right behind that right elbow in the last flurry of punches. Cracked him with the right hand.
And just missed with the uppercut you were talking about as well, Rich.
Yeah, he really hasn't shown that much. We'll wait to see if he has the opportunity for that.
Well, and that's the hardest thing when you fight a fighter like Vasyl Lomachenko, is that can you hit him? Can you catch him? Because his footwork is so good. His feet are on one side. He's throwing punches from the other side. Everyone wants to know if Uolterс will be able to knock him out, but you got to catch him first.
Slick movement, but Uolterс is avoiding a lot of shots thrown by Vasily in this round. See, he comes in, he caught him with the right hand there, threw 3 or 4 punches, caught him with one right hand. But Uolters has landed a few in this round as well.
Of course, because of the defensive acumen of Lomachenko, it's difficult to get a clean shot on him. But on the other hand, really, Lomachenko has not landed a lot of blistering blows to the head of Uolters either.
I'm leaning towards Uolters in this round with 10 seconds to go. The harder punches that I saw landed, And this is professional boxing, as I say that. Lomachenko. But I mean, there was that flurry at the very end. Prior to that, there were, I think, about 3 hard blows that I saw that Uolterс landed. And based on that, I'm going to give Uolterс the 3rd round.
Well, and if you break the round into 1 minute, who won the first minute, who won the 2nd minute, who won the 3rd, the first 2 minutes were likely won in that round by Николас Уолтерс. So you'd give him the round.
Let's take a look. He did land that and flash that right hand in the last round. He come up with the uppercut. He was starting it and ended up to the body, and then he came over the top with a chopping right hand, which did connect with the head of Lomachenko. Uolterс looks fine in his corner as you take a look at him.
You know, Christina, going back to what you said in the first minute of the round and the 2nd minute of the round, unless there's real damage pointed out, this is where judges will disagree. Because some will say, yeah, well, he won the first 2 minutes, and therefore I'm going to give him the round. Others will say, how much damage did the guy do? And that's where the controversy comes from. Glad you brought that up.
And that's why you get some of these scores just all over the place.
That's right. This isn't like that so far. Now, Rich, I will ask you, do you agree that, or disagree that Uolterс won the 3rd round?
I think I disagree.
So you and I are totally at odds.
But then again, you've called 1,005.
Yeah, but I've scored over 10,000. This is the 4th round. We're at the Chelsea, a nice tight venue. Seats about 3,500 people. It's jam-packed on a holiday weekend here. It's Thanksgiving in Las Vegas, Nevada. Cosmopolitan Hotel, Vasyl Lomachenko in the blue trunks, and in the black with the gold and green trunks is Николас Уолтерс, a former world champ. He was pushed down. Tony says no, no, no. By the way, for you folks watching in New Zealand, Tony Weeks, who is one of the best, especially heavyweight guys, he's a big, solid guy, a weightlifter himself in great shape, will be handling the heavyweight fight between Andy Ruiz and Joseph Parker down in New Zealand. And they couldn't have selected a better, more qualified referee to do a heavyweight championship fight.
The Uolterс corner is calling for body shots from Uolters. They want him to do more body work, and it's just so hard to catch Lomachenko. That's the problem.
I think that's the good idea. I think that's the way he should probably progress here for a round or two at least, so that he can start touching. He has been flashing that right hand of his. He tried again, but it's such a difficult proposition.
So frustrating, Rich. So frustrating point. He tried to land a couple of body shots here, and just the bounce of Lomachenko made him, made those punches much lighter.
Lomachenko has a little bit of that redness on the right side of his body, which is where Uolter's left hand has attempted to land a power shot there. It just hasn't happened yet.
Stop.
Lomachenko is a guy who's considered the greatest amateur who's ever fought. It's hard to argue with a record of 396-1.
Well, I don't think anybody's had a record like that.
So, 2 Olympic gold medals, 2 world championships in the amateurs.
Tony Weeks says don't bang him behind the head. You pull him on the inside, that's exactly what's going to happen. Lomachenko, I thought outboxed him in that round. So I've got 3 for Lomachenko, 1 for Uolterс. 39-37 is my score right now. These rounds are close.
All right, we're kind of at that line of demarcation now that Lomachenko drew, which he said and told Christina it'll be a hard fight for 4 rounds, and then everything will be all right.
Yeah, so we'll see if he... I mean, he's won most of all those early rounds, even if he hasn't poured it on yet. I mean,
well, let's
what
see.
are we going to see? Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if he turns it up a notch now, as he told Christina he would. This is round number 5, again scheduled for 12, world title fight. WBO 130-pound junior lightweight championship of the world. Colonel Bob Sheridan here with Rich Murata, Christina Poncha, our principals in there. Vasily Lomachenko to the left of your screen with the blue and white. And in the black trunks with the green and gold is Nicolás Uolterс, a former world champ. 2 champions in there. Southpaw is Lomachenko, jabs with the right hand. And he definitely looks like he wants to pick up the pace, Christina. So let's see if he can be more effective now in picking up the pace.
Uolterс needs to pick up the pace too. He needs to let his hands go. His best shot in this fight is working and throwing more punches, and he's just not doing it yet.
No, he's not. He's landed a couple of decent body shots, one in particular from a couple of rounds ago. But other than that, he's been outboxed by Vasily Lomachenko. And now Lomachenko definitely has turned it up a notch. There's that step around, quick jabs with the right hand.
When he does launch the punches from long range, you can see that Uolterс throws punches with speed. So he's got power, but speed of hand as well.
And he went for the uppercut. That one landed a little south of the border. Tony warns him, and he looks at Vasily and says, "You good?" He says, "Yeah." He's okay. There's that step around again where he's got his thigh like up by his hip and blasts him with the left hand on the inside.
It really takes him far to the right, which gives a very unusual and difficult and uncomfortable angle for his adversary in the ring.
Yeah, well, you can't hit him when he steps by you like that. You get no leverage with your left hand, and unless you can spin around and pivot. But he's got that block because he's got his leg right next to you, his left leg right next to your left leg.
Another thing to love about Lomachenko is the fact that this is a guy that wants challenges. You know, he's fighting really good fighters. You know, he too wanted to fight Uolterс, and you know, Uolters is a big challenge for him. But you know, he told Bob Arum when they first signed him that he wanted to fight for a pro title in his first professional fight. They couldn't get that put together, but it wasn't long after that that he did fight for a world title. I mean, this guy's already had 2 world championships in 7 fights.
And every fight, all he wants is meaningful fights. He's like, I don't want tune-up fights. I don't want fights against guys that aren't either for a world title or at the top of the division.
He's 28 years old, and he's had his, you know, his time as an amateur fighter, more time than most, and now he's ready as a professional. He thinks to fight the very, very best, and so far, so good. Very, very successful, and he's had another good 5th round where he did, in fact, as Christina pointed out to us before the fight, that this is exactly what he wanted to do. They both wait, they both posture. That's something I haven't seen.
Vasily telling the people, wait, just wait, just wait. You see, he put his hands out like that, just everybody calm down. Like, I got this under control. And he does. I mean, he could be up 5-0.
I thought that was Lomachenko's best round. And he really flashed his own speed of hand in that round.
I have it right now, 49-46. I gave Uolterс the 3rd round, but it was close. Rich disagreed with me. Christina, I think, disagreed with me too, but too courteous to say anything against me. And Rich would just jump right on me at any time. So we like that, though, don't we, Rich?
That's it.
But you know what I like about that, folks, and all joking aside, is that if Rich and I disagree when we're scoring around, it's probably like what the judges are thinking. So I like that. As a lead announcer and a color commentator, we don't have to agree all the time, and because the judges don't agree all the time. Yet we view fights much the same way, and so do they. But there's not a lot of difference in some rounds, so I'm glad that happens. Okay, we head to the 6th round in the scheduled 12-round affair. Lomachenko turned it up a notch in the last round, a little adrenaline flow. Now let's see if Uolterс can do the same thing, because he needs to do that. He needs to get to the body of Lomachenko, and he needs to throw that uppercut.
By the way, I think we should mention, because we haven't so far in the telecast, for fans watching around the world who may not have heard things in the last couple of weeks, that Lomachenko is being touted as a possible future challenger. Not right away, but maybe in a year and a half for Manny Pacquiao, which was surprising to many.
Let's go.
But he's up here fighting at 130 tonight. He could fight at 135, and maybe he says he would fight Pacquiao at 140. Pacquiao says he could easily come down to 140, that he felt that it would be easier for him to fight it.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday in the fighter meetings, and you know, he said maybe in 1 or 2 more fights. I still need a few more fights before I'm ready, but you know, to Vasily, the big question is at what weight class? The highest that he does see himself going up in his career is 140. So how soon does he want to make that jump? And if when he does, is he going to stay there or just go up for a Pacquiao fight and come back down? Obviously, he didn't want to talk too much in the future, but he said he never would have thought when he signed with Top Rank that Pacquiao would even be a possibility.
Well, as long as Bob Arum's promoting, it's a possibility. He'd like to get a few more fights out of Manny. It's all in Manny's, mind, what he wants to do. He's very serious about his political career in the Philippines, but he's also a guy that I've never seen come into the ring where he wasn't ready to fight in top shape. But he is getting up there in age.
Well, I'm not gonna say that fight is inconceivable, because I never thought I heard anything more ridiculous than when it was first suggested that Pacquiao take on Oscar De La Hoya.
Yep.
I asked Freddie Roach, I remember asking him on the radio show that I was doing at the time if that was a joke, if he was serious about it. We all know what happened with that.
But I think Vasily wants to stay at 130 for a bit. And I mean, we talked about our next fight coming up December 10th with Terrence Crawford. I'd like to see Terrence Crawford in there with Manny Pacquiao before talks of a Lomachenko fight. But look, he's doing quite well at 130, so we'll see how anxious he really is to move up.
Colonel Uolterss is not having any success here in the last couple of rounds.
And he's certainly having no success here in the 6th round. Cuts loose with the right hand that time. We haven't seen the uppercut yet that Rich has been telling us could come, and we've seen in previous fights and from 2 different spots in the Rick Darchinyan fight, as well as the Nonito Donaire fight. Feints a couple times, and Lomachenko just smothers him. But there's no question from the 5th round on that Lomachenko turned it up a notch. And he may have won all the rounds in the fight. The only one that I could possibly give to Uolterss was 3. And Lomachenko has won everything else, in my opinion. Okay, Rich, here's a chance to see Lomachenko's right hand here now.
All right, he's pumping it up. There's no question about it. Now, there's Uolterss trying the jab. He hasn't had much success. Look at the pivot right off of that punch. As soon as he landed that punch, he just pivoted away. Hit and get out of range. And there, a little wise move inside, kind of pushed Uolterss aside. One of the problems here tonight for Uolterss, Colonel, is his inability to land the jab. You know, a guy like this who fights in a conventional style, hands held high, orthodox style, he wants to work off of his jab, with the left jab. He can't land it.
No, he can't. We move to the 2nd half of the fight. This is round 7. We're at the Chelsea. Beautiful theater here, beautiful for fight fans. Everybody's got a great seat. The Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas, Nevada in the USA. 2 terrific champion fighters in there. Nicolás Uolterss, who held the title at a couple of weight divisions, and now Vasily Lomachenko has held world titles and only his 8th professional fight, but we've talked quite a bit about his amateur career, and that's why he's so successful at age 28 and only in his 7th professional, rather 8th professional fight. 6 victories, 4 knockouts, just a master box. There's that step around again, but more often than not when he comes around now, that time he was able to land the punches. He got an uppercut in there and blindsided him with the right hand. Look at it, steps around. But more important, as we pointed out, when he does that step around, he's right next to the body of his opponent, in this case Uolterss, and Uolterss can't figure out what to do.
He can't land that right hand. I mean, he's completely taken away Uolterss' ability to land that power shot with his footwork, the way that he moves to Lomachenko's right, which is Uolterss' left.
Exactly right. And there's Lomachenko turning it up a bit. missed his wild shots, as did Uolterс. Uolters misses his left hook, but Lomachenko catches him downstairs, cracks him with the right hand upstairs, bangs that left ear, gets the jab out there.
Lomachenko's work output is increasing from all areas. Look at in his punching, in his movement, in his angles.
Here we go.
And
Here we go,
Uolters
turn around.
right now has no answer for it.
No, he doesn't have an answer, and his legs looked a little bit weak as he was pulling out of there as well. Well, maybe the accumulation of punches here at the halfway point in this fight is beginning to catch up with Nicholas. As that step around again, he blindsides him, and there is no answer for that. I've never seen anybody else able to execute that move. And especially for the southpaw against a right-handed fighter. That time he uses the forearm. Lomachenko again outfoxes him on the inside. Where's Uolter's uppercut? Look at the hand speed there of Lomachenko.
That was the thing that shocked me about Lomachenko the most, was when he fought Gary Russell, who has incredible speed. And it turned out in the fight, in their exchanges, that Lomachenko turned out to be the faster guy.
And look at Lomachenko here, left hand lead.
Stop. Let him go.
Tony's get in there and says, don't hook down on those hands.
Uolter's is completely confused.
And Lomachenko's only picked up the pace.
He certainly has.
Stop. Let him
And
go.
again, the
Let him
arms
go.
get tied up again. Lomachenko pulls up and makes sure the referee understands what's going on here. That's a terrific round for Lomachenko. Go ahead, Rich.
I'm looking at Uolter's in the corner. He looks very discouraged to me as he hangs his head over the ropes.
And he didn't want to talk about the 11 months that he hasn't been in the ring. And I know we haven't brought that up that much because it's not the first time. He's fought once a year for the last couple years. So his team's like, it's not a big deal. But he looks completely exhausted right now.
He does.
Is he quitting?
He's getting in Tony Weeks' ear about something.
He got off his seat. I'm not sure if Nicholas Uolter's
He's
is going to
done.
continue.
He's
That's
done.
it. All over.
Fight's over.
The fight's all over.
He quit in the corner.
He quit.
Wow.
Wow.
He was getting out boxed and he was getting beat up. And he said no to Tony. Tony went over to check on him. Kind of anticlimactic, but gee, what a great effort by Lomachenko.
It was that body language is right at the end of the
You could tell.
round. When he walked to his
Well,
corner,
you said that, Rich.
he put his hands on the ropes, hung his head over the ropes, and he seemed extremely discouraged.
Well, he's getting booed here.
Yeah, the fans are letting him know that they don't appreciate the fact that he gave it up in the corner.
Well, that's kind of too bad that it ended that way because I wanted to see more of Lomachenko. But Uolter's knew, kind of like maybe Duran against Ray Leonard, that it wasn't going to be his night. We don't have audio of this, but we'll see exactly. Watch this in here. Here he is. He stands up. He says to Tony, no, I'm done.
You could tell, it looks like he's saying he didn't want any more. No, he's shaking his head
all
no.
over.
And he walked right across to Lomachenko to congratulate him. I think Uolter's knew he was outgunned in there.
Well, you know, it's like the Rand fought, I alluded to it, to Ray Leonard. Nothing was going his way, and it wasn't that he said no mas. He says he was just fed up with it. Now I understand we have audio, so let's listen in. Listen to this, folks.
Yeah.
Hold on. Do you want to? No, I don't want to continue. No. The fighter don't want to continue. No. You don't want to continue. No. Okay.
You just said you don't want to continue, and he said no. And that's it. We still have to make it official by going to Michael Buffer, but it'll be scored as a technical knockout victory after 7 rounds.
Well, I sure want to hear if he has an explanation for that. I mean,
I hope we can get an interview with him. It's going to be hard.
Well, hopefully Christina will be able to get the explanation.
All right, here's Michael.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official time comes at the end of round 7 as the challenger informs referee Tony Weeks he is unable to continue. The winner by TKO victory and still WBO super featherweight champion of the world, Vasyl Lomachenko.
So officially a TKO after 7 rounds. Uolter's quits on his stool, and we'll try to get in there, both HBO in the United States We'll be doing interviews, and our Christina Poncha's in there. So, Rich, for you and I, interesting night of boxing. Panamara very successful in his a unanimous decision victory over Silvero Ortiz, and Trevor McCumbee looked very, very strong, as anyone would, with a first-round knockout victory over Donovan George. And this one, I was just getting cranked up to watch more Lomachenko.
Yeah. Well, Lomachenko, you can see with each succeeding round, really starting in the fifth as he predicted, you know, with the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, it was an increasing level of dominance, and the rounds were getting more one-sided. We mentioned in that last round that Uolterс looked confused fighting Lomachenko and how discouraged he was at the end of the round. He was completely taken apart, basically, in that last round by Lomachenko. And it was just the case. And I think the fans are booing because of the fact that, you know, he was not busted up. He was not bleeding. He was not knocked down. He wasn't even physically really wobbled at any time during the course of the fight. But he was getting beaten down.
Totally frustrated. And he knew that he didn't have the answer to it. Now, he's being interviewed in there by the HBO announcer, and we're picking up a little bit of it, but we'll wait till our Christina Poncha has him right on our microphone so we know exactly what happened. So again, for all of you fans that are watching down in New Zealand, I hope you enjoyed it on a Sunday afternoon down there. I'll be down in a couple of weeks. Look forward to being with my good friends and see everybody in action for the Joe Parker and Ruiz fight. And this is the summary of this.
All right, the first few rounds were close, but Lomachenko was edging them in every round. But by the sixth round, he was in total control. And as you can see, his dominance was apparent, and Uolterс was finding it less and less possible to have any answers for him. And he wasn't throwing punches. And in the seventh round, it was just all Lomachenko. And as you can see, Uolterс was just unable really to solve what is a massive puzzle that this guy brings. And finally, it was Uolterс in his corner that told referee Tony Weeks he just didn't want any more of that.
Well, that move that this guy has as a southpaw, where he steps past the left side of a right-handed fighter, makes it next to impossible for the right-handed fighter, in this case it was Uolterс, to have any ability to do anything. And he had no answer for it, and it frustrated him. And after 7 rounds of this, you got to just say that Lomachenko just outclassed him tonight, and Uolterс just got fed up and didn't want to go anymore, which is kind of too bad, because that isn't what you think of when you think of Nikolaus Uolterс.
Well, yeah, and I think fans are disappointed. I think because of whether they were rooting for Uolters or Lomachenko, everybody kind of wanted to see Uolter's power, wanted to see him maybe land a big shot to see what would happen, you know? I mean, to see how Lomachenko would react to that. We never did that. He didn't really elicit any material damage from any punch that he threw. I don't think tonight that I could see.
And I know I gave Uolterс the 3rd round, and he may not have won it on any other judges or any judges' scorecards, but the crowd is booing right now in attendance here because the local network is interviewing Uolters, and Uolters is answering, but we'll try to get Christina to interview him as well and hear exactly what he says. All right, Christina now has Vasily with her, so let's go over to Christina. Take it away, Christina.
Vasily, congratulations, and still world champion. You said this is a special fight because of all the abilities that Nikolaus Uolterс brings to the table, but you completely made his abilities look like null and void. How were you able to completely eliminate his right hand and make him look somewhat basic tonight?
Ты говорил, сначала поздравляет, а ты говорил, что Уолтерс, да, действительно грязный боксер, что с ним будет трудновато, но все, что он делал, ты просто мог контролировать и показал его как просто только простой боксер.
Да, я говорил о том, что первые 4 раунда я буду пристреливаться, я должен буду его прощупать, после чего возьмусь за дело. Ну, как бы так и вышло, все по плану.
That's exactly what they said. You know, I had my plan. I have to feel him 4 rounds. I felt it around, you know, what he has in the 4 rounds, and after that, I just start dominating him.
Did you ever imagine coming into this fight that you would make him quit, that he wouldn't want anymore?
А ты как-нибудь думал, что он вообще как бы перестанет боксировать, не выйдет больше боксировать с тобой? Представлял такую версию?
Я не знаю, что у него там внутри творится, но он кричал о том, что он гладиатор, о том, что он воин. Оказалось, что он сдался, он сложил свое оружие. Я после этого не считаю его гладиатором.
In the beginning, he was saying he's a gladiator, he's gonna do this and he's gonna do that, but in the very end, just showed up, he just quit.
What would you like to do from here, Vasily? Today, Orlando Salidо came out and said that he's open to giving you a rematch. Would you like to get that rematch against Orlando Salidо, or would you like to move on and fight somebody else?
Орландо Салидо здесь, что ты хочешь делать и что ты хочешь делать дальше. Орландо Салидо, что он говорит, что он готов тебе сдать рематч, и что ты хочешь?
Послушайте, его менеджер несколько месяцев назад высказывался там не слишком красиво в нашу сторону. Салидо точно так же. Я не могу их понять. Вы хотите драться, поехали. Вам предлагали драться. Вы начинаете торговаться, начинаете запрашивать слишком высокие цены. Ребята, ну мы, по-моему, здесь для того, чтобы решать, кто сильный, кто лучший из лучших. Давайте выйдем, покажем бокс.
They've been talking already about that. His manager was talking about a couple months ago, and he was talking already like, you know, he wants to do it. I never was hiding. If they want to do it, I don't have any problems. Let's go and do it.
All right. We'd look forward to that one, but first, congratulations on Bob's 2000th card. You remain world champion and made a big smile on his face.
Thank you, thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, Nicholas, a lot of people have a lot of questions. You came into this fight undefeated. You said it was an opportunity for you to become world champion, and you were a warrior. What happened tonight?
I think basically it was the inactivity. You know, it has been a while since I've been in the ring, and and going back into the ring after so much layoff. It wasn't a warm-up fight, no warm-up fight. It was the champ, you understand? And he was on target. You can see that he was on target more than I was. You know, and in the last round he caught me with some pretty good shots in the last round. And my corner decided to stop the fight, you know. Unfortunately, I think the inactivity, you know, it paid a lot on, it paid a toll on my body, the inactivity.
You're the type of fighter, though, that has power in both hands. That one punch could change a fight. Why not give yourself the opportunity to see? Did you just feel that you weren't going to even be able to land anything on Lomachenko?
I tried. It was 7 rounds of fight. I tried each and every round to catch him. But what happens is that my power punches keep on hitting his guard or off range. You know, the time that I've been in the ring, if I had like maybe 1 or 2 warm-up fight, then take him on at the end of this year, would be a total different thing. I wasn't finding my reach, the distance, everything was off tonight. It was an off night for me tonight. I have nothing to take away from Lomachenko. They said that he was one of the great fighters, and I really wanted to prove myself against him to test him. And he's everything as they say. He's a very good fighter. I have nothing to take away from him. He can fight. He's a very good fighter, and he have good power and punch and everything. He's a good fighter.
All right, thank you. Very classy in defeat. I appreciate your time, Nicholas, and we'll see you back in the ring again soon, hopefully.
Hopefully see him if Uncle Bob give me more fight, you know. And then him too long not fighting. That's a lot.
All right, thank you, Nicholas. All right, Colonel.
All right, thank you, and some pretty good insight there, Rich.
Well, yeah, but I think the problem is that, you know, sometimes boxing fans can be unforgiving. It took them a long time to forgive Roberto Duran after the No Mas fight. Now everybody loves Roberto, and toward the end of his and after that, subsequent things. But he's going to have, I think, a tough time living this down tonight. The fans let him have it here tonight, and you know, it's not the normal acceptance of boxing fans to accept a guy quitting when in that kind of a situation in his corner. He just felt that he was not going to be able to do what he wanted to do in there, that he had tried, and he gave it up. But on the other hand, Lomachenko, I think he has to be considered now definitely one of the top pound-for-pound fighters. He should be on everybody's list, and it's a great list right now, you know, with all of the great fighters, with you know, Gennady and Chocolatito and you know, Kovalev and Andre Ward and Manny Pacquiao. But, you know, somewhere in that top 6 or 7, I think Lomachenko belongs.
Yeah, and he probably does. Well, we'll see what the Brain Trust do with Nicholas Uolterс, Brad Goodman, and of course you've got
Bruce
all of
Trampler.
the Bruce Trampler and Kyle Moretti and see what they decide to do with Nicholas Uolterс. We'll see more of Vasyl Lomachenko. Here we go. It started out with Trevor McCumbee.
And McCumbee was unbelievable. Donovan George, a guy who's been in there with some of the best in the division, Adonis Stevenson included, was just no match. He got caught early. He got confused in there, and he tried to fight back, but McCumbee would not give him just a second even to relax, to breathe. McCumbee went on and posted this very impressive victory in the very first round to continue his undefeated run.
Trevor McCumbee in his first round knockout over Donovan George. In our second fight, here we see Silverio Ortiz against Konstantin Panamarev. This was a boxing match.
Right, and it was Panamarev doing most of the boxing, at least the effective boxing. Very skilled fighter, getting better with every fight. He was on his way to his 31st victory. Went up against a tough veteran who'd been around for many, many years, Silverio Ortiz, but Ortiz couldn't really stop him. And Panamarev rode on, make himself 31-0.
31-0 with 14 KOs. And now we get the big main event. And it was all Vasyl Lomachenko over Nicholas Uolterс.
Kind of a slow start, picked it up with each round. As the fight wore on around the 5th round, he really took over, began to show his dominance. 6th round, he separated himself even more from Nicholas Uolterс, and by the 7th round, at the conclusion of it, Uolterс had had enough, told Tony Weeks no. You see him shake his head no. It really wasn't the corner that stopped it. It was Nicholas Uolterс who stopped it.
So that's the story. Nicholas Uolterс said no more. Vasyl Lomachenko goes on to retain his WBO junior lightweight 130-pound championship of the world. So that's it. I want to thank our director, producer, Marty Cohen, and of course our statisticians, Pete Susan, Tammy Cotel, and our stage manager, Wendy Corwin, for all the help tonight. So for Rich Barata, Christina Poncha, and our entire staff at Top Rank Boxing, I'm the Colonel Bob Sheridan saying so long from Las Vegas, Nevada in the USA. Good night, everybody.